we're now going to create an email account in Outlook. And just before we go to Outlook and start the email creation process, it would be useful to know that your username, when Outlook asks for your username, it's referring to your email address. That is your username. When it wants its password, it's going to use the password that you have set for this email account in your control panel, in cPanel. The incoming server name would be mail dot your domain dot whatever the extension is, .com, .net, .co.za. So you would use mail dot your domain dot co.za. I'm going to use mail dot globalmerchants.co.za, and for my outgoing server I have several choices. I can actually use mail.hostdirect.globalmerchants.co.za, or in your case you'll use mail.yourdomain.co.za. What this really means is that your own mail server is going to deliver the mail. Mail.hostdirect.yourdomain.co.za is going to be basically taking care of processing your outgoing mail and sending it to your recipient. When we say authentication is required for IMAP, POP, and SMTP, you will see it's an extra step that we take to make sure that our email server is not reported as being a insecure email server. So let's go and start with Outlook. This is the Outlook screen, and we're going to create a new email account by going to File. In the earlier version, you would find that you'd have to click on an item called Tools in the menu and find Account Settings in order to open the New Account dialog box. In this case, I'm going to File, Account Settings, and I want to add or modify an account. So these are my accounts, and I'm going to create a new account. In our previous example, the name of the company was Global Merchants, and we'll use that throughout our video tutorials. And the name was Abraham at globalmerchants.co.za. The password, I know that. Now, here's the thing. I shouldn't have put the password in yet because we actually want to do a manual setup. It's going to use those fields anyway, but it'll still ask you for a password. Nevertheless, when you're setting up an email account, rather choose the manual setup or additional server types. Let's go there. The email address we said was we're doing POP or IMAP. Let's go next. Okay, that's filled in for me there. I'm going to use that again and paste it in my username. So just remember, Outlook might not allow you to right click and copy and paste. So if you want to copy this and make sure that the spelling is correct each time, you use the domain globalmerchants.co.za, because a spelling error will result in a failed email. So it's best to check the first one, copy it, and paste it into the second one by using the Control-C to copy and Control-V to paste. Here now we're going to enter our account type. I want to use IMAP. Let me explain that. POP3. Firstly, POP3 is the type of protocol that will download your email from the email server and store it on your local hard drive, which is a good thing. Then you have total access to your emails. With IMAP, oh yes, and of course, with POP3, you cannot access the same emails that have been already downloaded to your notebook, for example. You may want to access them on your tablet or your mobile phone. Then you wouldn't want to use POP3, because if you download all your mail on one device, the other devices won't be able to see the same email. So for that reason, we have IMAP. And the Imap protocol is designed in such a way that you are able to download the email headers and have a look at the email as it is, and it also remains on the server as an additional precaution. So if you want to actually go and have a look at your email from another device, like a tablet or mobile phone, or even through a web browser, maybe you want to have a look at it in the webmail form, IMAP will make that possible. In the case of POP3, if you wanted to go to your webmail through a web browser, you won't find any email in there, because your laptop or your tablet or your mobile phone would have downloaded them permanently to the local device. So it is advisable to use IMAP as a protocol for your email. Now, the domain name is globalmerchants.co.za. So I'm going to copy that part and type in mail dot, and I will paste the domain name so I don't make any typos when I'm entering the details. I'll paste it again. So your incoming mail server requires an address, and the address is mail dot, in my case, globalmerchants.co.za. In your case, it would be the domain name that you registered. The outgoing server requires an address as well, and we're going to use the same address as our incoming mail server, and we won't use our service provider's SMTP to send mail. So here's our username, which is the email address. I'm going to put in the password. And I'm not going to use this because we don't have SSL enabled for globalmerchants.co.za, so I'm going to leave that unchecked. I do want to go to more settings though, and choose the outgoing server tab. And for security reasons, I'd like to choose this option. My outgoing server, SMTP, requires authentication. Use the same settings as my incoming mail server. Okay, so we have selected that. That's fine. Let's go and just change this port to 587, and everything else is fine. We're going to leave that intact. Say OK, and then let's put our email account to the test. By clicking next, it will test the account for us. Okay, so it has tested successfully. The incoming mail server has completed its test, and the outgoing mail server, which sends mail, has completed its test successfully, and you can see there are no errors in the error panel. So we can close that and click on finish if you're happy with that. And let's test if Abraham at Global Merchants is working fine. Yep, and it is. It's sending and receiving. It's received my test message from Outlook. There we are. Let us now create an email quickly and send one from Abraham at Global Merchants and see if it sends just fine. So I'm going to send it to support@hostdirect.co.za, and it is a test email. Test. Let's send. Oh, there we are. It's sending our message. Okay, so our message has left, and if we go to our sent items folder, we're going to see that we have actually sent a test message. This is a message that we did earlier, so this is the message that we just sent, and fine. So that is how you would set up an email address in Outlook. Thank you for watching this video.